This video is about paper macheing over modeling clay. So here are some examples of what you could create out of clay and then paper mache over and then paint. So for this, we are going to need some supplies. We will need a plate, a chunk of this modeling clay that's in the cabinet, paper strips, and then our paper mache paste. So to begin with your modeling clay, you can make whatever you would like. So for this, I'm going to just make an A for my name. And your piece with your modeling clay needs to be pretty basic. It doesn't need to have a lot of tiny details because it'll be very hard to paper mache over. Then also make sure that your modeling clay is very smooth. So there's not a lot of extra bumps or anything. Make sure it's smooth and very simple. So don't have any tiny little pieces or details. Then with our paper mache paste, we are going to tear some strips of paper. So if possible, with your strips of paper, put the paper strips so that most of it is white, if you can. So there's usually a blank side, and put that side up. So we're going to dip it in the paper mache paste, and you'll use your fingers kind of like a crab to pinch off the extra paste. So your paper needs to be wet, but it does not have to have globs of the paper mache paste. Then you'll put it on the clay and you'll smooth it out with your finger. So rub your fingers over the clay to smooth it out. Then you'll keep on putting on different little pieces of paper. Remember, you do not need to have globs of the paper mache paste. They just need to be wet. So you'll need to put this paper on the insides, wrap it around, and you'll need around 3 to 5 layers. So front, back, and in any of the little nooks and crannies that you might have. So here's a sped up version of me applying my paper. So I'm wrapping it inside my little A and I'm putting it everywhere. So 3 to 5 layers. If you don't have 3 to 5 layers, your object will probably break. So whenever class is over, you are going to put it to dry, and we need to write your name on the plate. So we are going to use a piece of tape and a Sharpie to write your name. I would do this before you start paper macheing, that way your plate isn't messy. And then I would also add whatever class you're in, that way we know it's yours. Then you can let it dry. Once your paper mache is dry and you have your 3 to 5 layers, you are going to bring it to me and I am going to cut it in half. So I'm going to use an X-Acto knife to then cut it in half. And then we are going to take the clay out from the middle. That way it becomes hollow. So make sure you bring this to me so I can do this. Then we'll peel it up in half. So I'll pull it in half. Then we're going to take the clay out from both sides. And then we get to reuse that clay for another paper mache project. So just put that ball of clay back in the cabinet because we get to reuse it. Right, then you will put the pieces back together, and then we need to paper mache again over the seam where we cut. That way it sticks together and now it's hollow. So we need around 3 layers, and it just needs to go over where we cut. So we can just focus on where I cut. Remember to keep smoothing it down so there's no bumps. And then you will let it dry again. So whenever it is dry, then you can paint it however you would like.